Do you be goat? 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 Do you be fish? Do you be fish? Do you be fish? Do you be goat? Do you be goat? Or do you be fish? Because the goats do be goat and the fish do be fish. Do you be goat or a fish? Don't sit on the fence. Well, goats are of the land and fish are of the sea. But goat versus fish, which one do you be? Do you be goat or a fish? Meh. Do you be goat or a fish? Boom, 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 boom. Because the goats do be goat and the fish do be fish. Do you be goat or a fish? Don't sit on the fence. Now repeat, repeat after goat versus fish. Dooby 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 a dooby goat, dooby goat, dooby goat, dooby goat, or dooby fish, a dooby goat or a fish, because the goats do be goat and the fish do be fish. Do you be goat or a fish? Don't sit on the fence. Well, goat versus fish came up to me and said, a goat or a fish, which one do you be? Do you be goat or a fish? Do you be goat or a
goat
fish?
Versus fish.
Goat or a fish? Do you be goat or a fish? Because
goat
the
versus
goats
fish.
do be goat and the fish do be fish. Do you be goat or a fish?
Goat
Don't sit
versus
on the
fish.
fence. Because the goats do be goat and the fish do be fish. The medieval fence sitter sits on the fence. But the goats do be goat and the fish do be fish. Do you be goat or a fish?
Welcome, goat and fish, to another exciting versus of goat versus fish. And we have our first fish in the verses. We have our first fish in the verses. Celebration, celebration. Celebration, celebration.
This is the current verses.
Celebration, celebration for goat versus fish. The mighty goat versus fish who brings the verses to you. Welcome to Goat vs. Fish, the only verses you need. Whether you wish to watch, whether you wish to read, Goat vs. Fish is the only verses you need. The only verses you need. The only verses you need is Goat vs. Fish. Are you even contemplating another verses besides Goat vs. Fish? Don't do it. Don't do it. Are you goat or are you fish? Welcome. And the YouTubes are here with Goat vs. Fish and the Twitches are here with Goat vs. Fish. Welcome and celebration, welcome and celebration for the greatest verses. The greatest verses in the universes. Goat vs. Fish. Goat vs. Fish. Bros before fences, and are bros goat or are they fish? As you can see, the board of Goat vs. Fish. Where's the board of Goat vs. Fish? The board of Goat vs. Fish is at Pen Paper Palooza in Santa Monica, where Goat vs. Fish will be setting up a booth and soliciting donations for Goat vs. Fish and selling merch of Goat vs. Fish and writing poetry of Goat vs. Fish. All at Pen Paper Palooza. Goat vs. Fish is going to the con, and it's on, and it's on. But just because Goat vs. Fish is busy with preparation for the convention does not mean that Goat vs. Fish isn't going to give you a Goat vs. Fish Thursday. For you have been here with Goat vs. Fish since the beginning of Goat vs. Fish, and to show our appreciation, we're going to have a little verses. How about we have a little verses? We think a little verses is just what we need. But we have the old verses. Make some noise for the old verses. Make some noise for the old verses. Yes. Yes, we like this. Giant chalkboard is well and fine, but this old verses? This old verses makes it on time. This old verses makes it on time. As we listen to the musications of Thunder Tracks Celebration. Celebration for Thunder Tracks. So let's start. Let's start this. Let's start this Goat vs. Fish with fair versus. It's a fair versus of Goat versus Fish. Every versus is a little difference. A little difference. Are you goat or are you fish? Every verse is, we wake up and it's Goat versus Fish. And immediately we ask ourselves the one true question. Are you goat or are you fish? You say to yourself, am I goat or fish? Are we goat or fish? There's no better way to start your day than a versus. Are you goat or fish? The time has come for declarations! And declarations are the greatest celebrations, the greatest celebrations! Fatality was first in the verses, and Fatality declared fish. Let's get a fish in there. Let's get a fish for Fatality. Look at the fish. Look at the fish! Fatality is in the verses. Lithidora, are you goat or are you fish? Jolosaurus, are you goat or are you fish? T-Bear 505, are you goat or are you fish? T-Bear goes fish, T-Bear goes fish. T-Bear fish, T-Bear fish, celebration for fish, celebration for fish.
Do you be goat or a fish? Don't sit on the fence.
Celebration for fish. Celebration for fish. Thank you, fish. Always thank the fish. You want to thank the fish by all verses. Thank the fish. Thank the fish. Thank the colorful fish. Jolosaurus redeemed a celebration for fish. Celebration for fish. We're going to do this Goat versus Fish without even looking. Just like this. Fish. Jonosaurus. Fish coming into an early versus now. Celebration for Jonosaurus the fish. No look celebration. Celebration for fish. Celebration for fish. Celebration for fish. No look. Back to the verses. Back to the verses. Wow, do you have a camera operator, Goat versus Fish? Yes, we do. Jolosaurus, welcome back to Goat versus Fish. Lithidora, are you goat or are you fish? Well, we have to look at the verses. Lithidora. Lithidora, are you goat or fish? Adam S., are you goat or fish? Celebration to P.S. Tilapia. Celebration for P.S. Tilapia. Make some noise for Tilapia! Tilapia! Now that's the name of a fish! Now that's the name of a fish! I Am Shaft is on the fence. I Am Shaft is on the fence. Fence-tacular.
Because the goats do
Fence-tacular.
be goats and the fish do be fish, the medieval fence
Beware the fence sitter. Beware the fence sitter who sits on the fence. P.S. Tilapia is a fish. P.S. Tilapia is a fish. Celebration for fish. Celebration for fish. Fish. And guess what, P.S. Tilapia? You get 2 fish. Because you have a name that has fish. If you have fish in the name and you are a fish, you get a bonus fish. If you have goat in the name and you have goat in your name and you are a goat, you get a bonus goat. That's a secret versus of Goat versus Fish. Now you know. Now you know. And I Am Shaft says pronounced Shafe. So you just expectation Goat versus Fish to make a correction to your pronunciation when you will not even correctly identify as goat or fish? Sounds like you're making a lot of demands for a fence sitter. You want special treatment? Well, you're not even treating yourself with the dignification of choosing goat or fish. Goat versus Fish could call you Shaft. Goat versus Fish could call you Shafe. But until you declare goat or fish, that empty void inside will never be filled. You will never have the thrill of a mighty versus. Shafe. Shafe who chafes at the very verses of choosing goat or fish. Chafes at the very verses. Tilapia, we love that you are a fish. Tilapia, how long have you been a fish? Tell us about your fishiness. We want to know. We want to know all about the tilapia fish. We wish to offer a special celebration to the tilapia fish. So Tilapia, tell us about your verses. Tell us about your verses. Tell us about your verses. Lithadora. Lithadora. Adam S. is a proud fish on YouTube. Let's get that fish in the verses. We have not even seen one goat declaration. We have 6 fish. We have 6 fish. Six fish. That's a beautiful celebration. We're not going to deny the fish their due verses, but come on, goat. Come on, goat, get in there. Get in there and versus the fish. One lucky goat could versus all 6 fish. 6 fish for every goat. 6 fish. Holy mackerel. Inventive Harvest says G. O. A. T. Says goat. Celebration for goat. Celebration for goat. Celebration for goat. We have our first goat. We have our first goat. Make some noise for the goat. Make some noise for the goat. Goat. Ham mods, welcome to Goat versus Fish. Ham mods, are you goat or are you fish? Are you goat or are you fish? Ham mods goes for fish. Ham mods goes fish. Ham mods goes fish. Ham mods goes fish. Ham mods goes fish. Leading from behind, it's the 7th fish of the verses. It's the 7th fish of the verses. Ham mods, celebration for fish. Ham mod, celebration for fish. And look at this, and look at this, and look at this! And look at this! I am Shafe with a subscription to Goat versus Fish. With a subscription to Goat versus Fish. Shape with a subscription to Goat vs. Fish. Some verses, there is a fence sitter, there is a pitiable, poor, misunderstood fence creature who believes in Goat vs. Fish. Some fence sitters, they just need some compassion. They just need some time. They just need Goat vs. Fish to pronounce their name. So Goat vs. Fish is game. Goat vs. Fish is game. Celebration for I am Shafe with the subscription to Goat vs. Fish. Or in other verses,
the electric fence.
beware that fence, beware that fence, beware that fence. Miff Raster goes fish, Miff Raster goes fish, Miff Raster goes fish. That's another fish. And with Shave with a tier 1 subscription, that's 500. 500 verse points. 500 points for the fence. 500 points for the fence.
My bum is on the rail. Bum is on the rail. Look at me. My bum is on the rail.
500 points for the fence. 500 points for the fence. Goat and Fish, are you going to let this fence railroad you this versus? Come on, Goat. Come on, Fish. Your prosperity depends on this. A subscription for fence. A subscription for fence. Versus cannot thrive on fence alone, Goat and Fish. Versus cannot thrive on fence alone. Versus cannot thrive on fence alone. Fish audience. And Shave, listen, you can whiz all you wish, just don't whiz on the electric fence, please. It's for your own verses. Believe Goat versus Fish. The fences are here. There are always fences. There are always fences. The only thing that's more always than a fence is Goat versus Fish, is Goat versus Fish itself. Mifraster Fish, celebration for fish, celebration for fish, and appreciation to the subscription to Goat versus Fish. I've been a fish since 2014. PST tilapia, PST tilapia. PST tilapia. We almost thought it was PTSD tilapia. We appreciate you being here for fish. Being here for fish. So the verses is 6, 7, 8 fish, 1 goat, 500 verses for the fence. 500 verse points for the fence. You can get verse points for joining the Patreon of Goat versus Fish, giving bits to Goat versus Fish, exclamation tip to Goat versus Fish, or subscriptions to Goat versus Fish. These are all fine verses. These are all fine verses. Sometimes you give goats PTSD, says PST Tilapia. We have to have a look at this. We have to have a look at this. We have to have a look at what's happening in this verses. Goat versus Fish. Oh, it's just happening. It's happening just there. Let's put it behind Goat versus Fish for this verses. Let's put it behind Goat versus Fish. Goat versus Fish. Look at this. Look, it's what's behind Goat versus Fish. What's going on behind Goat versus Fish? And we take this versus. So for those of you just chatting with Goat versus Fish, just watching this after the verses, we want to show you what's happening. We want to show you what's happening. So here we have PS Tilapia, and you can see that their icon is a fish. Their icon is a fish. That's why we're celebrating big fish this versus. We've got tilapia and we've got fish. We can see the Twitchers and we can see the two viewers. PS Tilapia says goats are all right, but fish is where it's at. But fish is where it's at. And here's I Am Shafe saying, very well, I shall subscribe. Celebration for your subscription to Goat vs. Fish. Celebration for your subscription to Goat vs. Fish. And here's Inventive Harvest's declaration of goat. G-O-A-T. Why declare goat once when you could declare goat 4 times and spell it out all the way? Take up more space. This goat knows how to take up space. This goat knows how to make the chat in their favor, in their flavor. Appreciation. Appreciation indeed. Appreciation indeed. And here we have 2 first messages. Shafe and P.S. Tilapia, offense and a fish. Offense and a fish. We very much appreciation the first time chatters of Goat vs. Fish. P.S. Tilapia says all the goats are good for is taking up space. Oh! Oh, hello, Goat vs. Fish. Hello, J Sticks. Hello, Thunder Tracks. Oh, Thunder Tracks, you're back? Thunder Tracks is back? Let's put those Thunder Tracks back on.
Make some noise for the goat. Make some noise.
Let's put those Thunder Tracks back on in that versus.
Make some noise for the goat. Make some noise for the goat.
Back on.
Thunder Tracks.
Welcome again to Goat vs. Fish. Welcome again to Goat vs. Fish. This shall be a mighty versus. This is the current versus. This is the current versus.
Thunder Tracks back on. This is kind of a fun versus. Get double Goat versus Fish. We'll just give you double Goat versus Fish. Why not have double Goat versus Fish? It's a very Goat versus Fish sort of thing to do. It's a very Goat versus Fish sort of thing to do to get multiple views of Goat versus Fish as we versus. I struggle from binary choices. That is why Goat vs. Fish welcomes you to the congregation of Goat vs. Fish. Many of us do struggle with choices. And that is why we are here. That is why we are here for you. Thunder Tracks, yo, Thunder Tracks, are you goat or are you fish? We are listening to the songs of Thunder Tracks. We'll shout out Thunder Tracks. We'll shout out Thunder Tracks. Celebration. Celebration. Thunder Tracks goes goat. Thunder Tracks goes goat. Thunder Tracks goes goat. That's our second goat. Thunder Goat. Thunder Goat. Thunder Goat. We think it's time. We think it's time. We think it's time to get you on the Instantgram of Goat vs. Fish. So much of Goat vs. Fish is spreading the verses of Goat vs. Fish. And with new subscribers and viewers like you, that's what we're going to do. First versus Goat vs. Fish is going to take the phone of Goat vs. Fish, the phone of Goat vs. Fish. The phone of Goat vs. Fish. I am Shafe. We take a picture of your chat. I am Shafe. Do you have an Instantgram? Fence sitters often don't have an Instantgram. Do you have an Instantgram, I am Shafe? Give the information to Goat vs. Fish. Give the information to Goat vs. Fish. Information. Oh, star, H-A-F-F. Wow. That's very amusing to Goat vs. Fish. Well, in any verses, you just unwittingly became more contentment for Goat vs. Fish. Because Goat vs. Fish does this. Behold. Behold, now do you wish to share your Instagram with all of the goat and fish? You do not have to. Do not feel any pressure, but we are going to put you in the story of Goat versus Fish. We could tag you if you want to repost this versus, and you should follow Goat versus Fish. You should follow Goat versus Fish. GOAT. That is strange that it's for some verses it's editing out Goat versus Fish. We do not know what it says for you, but This is what it says for Goat versus Fish. It says star half. Very strange verses. Very strange verses.
Do you be goat? Do you be fish? Do you be goat? Because the goats do be goat and the fish do.
A very strange verses indeed.
Don't sit on the fence. Well, goats are of the land and fish are of the sea.
Are you or are you or? That's an interesting versus PS Tilapia. How about we put that on the Instagram of Goat versus Fish? We'll take a picture of this. We'll take a picture of this. PS Tilapia. You are about to go in the verses of Goat versus Fish. We're creating Goat versus Fish together. We're creating Goat versus Fish together. Typical fensitterliness, I am Shafe. Typical fensitterliness.
Repeat after Goat versus Fish.
Your Wi-Fi, it will stop cutting out once you choose Goat or Fish. That's the connection you need to make. PS Tilapia. You are becoming part of the story of Goat versus Fish. We added the story of Goat versus Fish. Celebration, celebration, celebration. What a great story. What a great story of Goat versus Fish. What a great story of Goat versus Fish. Doobie 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 doobie. So for those of you who are new to Goat versus Fish, so we're looking at you. I am Shafe and I am you, PS Tilapia. Goat versus Fish has 3,834 followers on Goat versus Fish. Goat versus Fish as seen on America's Got Talent. Goat versus Fish as performing at Pen Paper Palooza tomorrow, 3:15 p.m. in Santa Monica. An hour and a half of Goat versus Fish. Now you who view the streams, you get an hour and a half of Goat versus Fish every versus. But Goat versus Fish implores you all to follow Goat versus Fish on the Instagram. The link is in the chat. The link is in the chat. We're going to be getting into some viewing of some Instagram, some Goat versus Fish reactions coming up soon on Goat versus Fish. But now we are just welcoming the Goat and Fish. We're welcoming the Goat and Fish. Degenerate Dingleberry has entered the chat and says, I'm going to have to go for goat tonight. I don't fish stand a chance. I don't fish stand a chance. An interesting proposition. An interesting proposition. Dingleberry. A goat for you. A goat for you. Celebration for goat. Celebration for goat. J-Sticks goes with fish. J-Sticks goes with fish. J-Sticks goes with fish. 9 fish. 9 fish. 9 fish, 3 goat. 9 fish, 3 goat in the verses of Goat versus Fish. J-Sticks, welcome to Goat versus Fish. How do you versus the goat? How do you versus the goat?
This is the current versus. This is the current versus.
This is the current versus. I am Shafe. It looks like you're trying to ask a question to Goat versus Fish, but we think that your Wi-Fi cut out and we can't read it. The message is not coming through clearly. Not coming through clearly. We think you're saying, what about goat? Or maybe you're saying, what about fish? It's a bit unclear. I also love Goat versus Fish, J-Sticks. My Instagram is updating right now. Celebration Fatality. We're going to add this. We're going to add this to Goat versus Fish. We just love adding your chats to the Instagram story of Goat vs. Fish. It's just one of our favorite verses. It's just one of our favorite verses. For all the doubters of Goat vs. Fish that say, are there ones who are truly entertained by Goat vs. Fish? Why, yes. Just look at all of their chats at Goat vs. Fish. There's the verses. There's the verses. P.S. Tilapia says, Foat versus Gish. What a humorous perception. Goat vs. Fish has been around Los Angeles and the Comedy Store and the Ding Dong Show and Accidental Chaos. Goat vs. Fish, we've heard the jokes. We've heard the jokes, and we know that Fish versus Goat. Wait, it's Goat versus Fish. Foat versus Gish? Is that even a joke to Goat versus Fish? Random TV Fish, random TV Fish, random TV Fish. Random TV Fish. Let's get Fish in the verses. Random TV Fish. Let's get Fish in the verses. The 10th Fish. Random TV. The 10th Fish. Vote versus Gish is the Wario verse. Is the Wario verse? Is the Wario verse? Some sort of strange bastardization of Goat versus Fish. Fatality says, I posted Goat versus Fish on my story. Celebration! Celebration! It's so simple to do any verses. You could just take a picture of the live stream of Goat versus Fish, and then you could put Goat versus Fish and share Goat versus Fish. At any verses, this could be done. I am Shafe says, are you not an imposter? Are you not Bird versus Bear? Bird versus Bear is a false versus. Bird vs. Bear claimed they were coming out of hibernation soon, but we haven't seen Bird vs. Bear anywhere. Ah, I am Shafe. We recognition you. We recognition you from the... We know just who you are. And you have precisely 4 followers. Well, Goat vs. Fish is going to give you a follow now. I am Shafe, and Goat vs. Fish is going to shout you out just in case you decide to do some living streams on Twitch. Goat vs. Fish met I am Shafe at the Maui Sugar Mill Saloon. They make musications. We may have them on the stream of Goat vs. Fish. But in the mean verses, go and follow I am Shafe. Go and follow I am Shafe. That must be you. That must be you. It looks like you. So by all verses, who knows? Who knows if they will stream? Maybe it's just a dream. Maybe it's just a dream. Bird and Bear are friends. They wouldn't verse. Bird and Bear aren't even real. Birds aren't real. Bears aren't real. There's only Goat and Fish. There's only Goat and Fish. Celebration. I challenge you to chess right this very verses. You want to challenge Goat versus Fish to chess right this very verses? What do you say, Goat and Fish? Should Goat versus Fish play a chess game live on Twitch right this very verses? That could be an amusing celebration. How about we do that? How about we have a game of chess right this very verses on Goat versus Fish? Goat versus Fish. The fence sitter. You think a fence sitter can defeat Goat versus Fish? Fish, Fish, Goat. Where's the other Fish? Come on, Fish. Come back, Fish. Come back, Fish. We are tired of the Goat outnumbering the Fish. Fish should come back. Fish should come back. Goat, fish, goat, fish, goat. Fish, goat, goat, fish. Goat, fish, fish, fish. There's fish. There's fish. Wait, there's 3 fish and there's 3 goat. Okay, we have 3 fish and we have 3 goat. It's a fair versus. It's a fair versus. Goat versus Fish logging into chess.com. We have not played in several billion millennium. Goat versus Fish has now logged into chess.com. Do you wish to issue a challenge? Do you wish to issue a challenge to Goat versus Fish? Bill Casey, are you goat or are you fish? Let's do a chess. Let's do a chess with Goat versus Fish. Let's do a chess with Goat versus Fish. I Am Shafe says, if I lose, I will choose and no longer sit on the fence. What is your... It's Goat versus Fish. Our chess.com username is Goat versus Fish. It's GoatVsFish. What do you expect from Goat versus Fish? Of course Goat versus Fish has a chess.com username, and of course it's Goat versus Fish. Of course it's Goat versus Fish. It's Goat versus Fish. It's Goat versus Fish. What are you expecting? Fence sitter 69 420? It's Goat versus Fish. So you go ahead, you issue a challenge to Goat versus Fish. It is a living stream, so let's put some timing on it. Random TV with a subscription to Goat versus Fish. Random TV with a sub to Goat versus Fish. It says that's what it says to Goat versus Fish. It seems it's a bit late here, but that's what it says to Goat versus Fish. So we're going to go 500 for the fish. 500 for the fish. 500 for the subscription for fish. Fish now. Poised to overtake the fence. Celebration. Fish, get over that fence to versus the goat. Get over that fence to versus the goat. Let's have a look at this versus. Goat versus Fish. Camera. Alerts. Maybe it's time we cleared the cache. Goat versus Fish has cleared the cache. Challenge sent. Challenge sent. Challenge sent. Challenge sent. Chess only has 4 viewers. That can't be true versus. Chess. There's the versus. Goat versus Fish. Chess. Update to legal policies. Yes, we accept that versus. Meta Shafe. Profile pic is Rudy. Ah. Goat versus Fish. We do not see challenges. We do not see your challenge to Goat versus Fish. We have detected that one or more of your recent opponents has violated our fair play policy. Celebration! Goat versus Fish lost when we shouldn't have. We have detected that one or more of your recent opponents has violated our fair play policy. As compensation for potentially unfair ratings loss, we have adjusted your following rating. Celebration! Celebration! Oh, they unfairly treat Goat versus Fish. $15.10. We recommendation somewhat shorter. We decline this versus. That would be too long for Goat versus Fish. Let's speed up the verses. This is a living stream. We can't just be lingering here on the fence forever. Come on, we've got to choose Goat or Fish. Timing. Declined by Goat versus Fish. We want a faster versus. How about goat versus fish? How about goat versus fish? 5-5, okay. We will compromise. We will compromise with the fence creature. We will compromise with the fence creature. Challenged again. Goat versus fish. Goat versus fish. Goat versus fish. This is a 3. Goat. What the fence? Where have you gone? Where have you gone? Where's your verses? Where was the verses? Come on, chess.com, stop being so fancy. Doug7AS, are you in the chat of Goat versus Fish? But it didn't say 5-5 to Goat versus Fish, it said 3-3 to Goat versus Fish. Challenge once more. Challenge Goat versus Fish once more. Challenge Goat versus Fish once more. Once more, challenge Goat versus Fish. John Ray challenges Goat versus Fish. Goat versus Fish. Goat versus Fish will accept. Goat versus Fish will accept a challenge for 500 bits or a gifted subscription to Goat versus Fish. You have to pay to play Goat versus Fish. Here we accept this versus. But it brings us here. There's Goat versus Fish. Okay. The versus is on. The versus is on. But you can't see the time of Goat. You can't see the time of all the verses. Okay. That should be fine for a Goat versus Fish. That should be fine for a Goat versus Fish. Oh, what the fence. Oh, pre-moving on Goat versus Fish. We see how it is. Well, we can ponder your expectation. Hi, Scott from Canada. Welcome to Goat versus Fish. Look at that beautiful development by Goat versus Fish. Look at that beautiful development by Goat versus Fish. Exposing your fish up. Fish up. Consider our fish up exposed. Consider our fish up exposed. We've got the fish up, and of course, we've got the goats. And we've got Goat versus Fish, and the queen is the unification. And the rooks are the fences, of course. The rooks are the fences, of course. The rooks are the fences, of course. Oh, what have we done here? Goat versus Fish. We're feeling very verseful. We're feeling very verseful about this. Interesting verses. Interesting verses. Goat versus Fish. Goat versus fish. We should have a versus. We should have a versus. Of course, they can check out Goat versus Fish. But we're covering Goat versus Fish. We're covering the versus. Oh, Goat versus Fish. A fine celebration. A fine celebration. A fine celebration. A fine celebration. But now. But now. Wait, but versus. Well, we can protect Goat versus Fish. We can, of course, protect Goat versus Fish. And, of course, we have the little fencelings. The little fencelings. The stream title made me think of a Metallica song, Creeping Death. Oh, Goat versus... Oh, we forgot about that very humble and simple verses. We just gave the fish up right back. We gave the fish up right back, but that's okay. We shall continue the verses. Sorry, Fish Up. Sorry, Fish Up. Oh, we had this expectation. Oh, we had this expectation. Very aggressive. This shape is very aggressive to Goat versus Fish. Creating unbalanced verses. It's not looking especially strong for Goat versus Fish, but we still have some celebrations ready to go. We still have some celebrations ready to go. Said Goat versus Fish. Said Goat versus Fish. Protection is always a critical versus. Protection is always a critical versus. We do have some concern. We do have some concern. Oh, look at what has happened. 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 Goat versus Fish. The protection. Versus. Goat versus Fish. Let's see if Goat versus Fish can outfence the fencer. Can Goat versus Fish outfence the fencer? Oh no. Oh no, what has happened? Well, this allows Goat versus Fish to celebration. Defense. Escape. Escape. Escape from Fencelandia. Goat versus fish. You have to be concerned with the time of goat versus fish. Is there enough time for goat versus fish? Is there enough time for goat versus fish? Find out next time on Goat versus Fish. Verses. Oh, my verses. That little fenceling is mine now. GoatVsFish. So let it be written, so let it be done. Is goat or fish your chosen one? That's what we want to know. We're playing for all the verses. Some of you may have expectation that Goat versus Fish was more superior than this, but we are going to allow Goat versus Fish. We overextended the verses. Goat versus Fish. That was what we call in the verses. That was what we call. What the fence do they call that? They call that a. Yes, they call that something. They call that a goat versus... What do they call that? Yes, Goat versus Fish. That was just a false interpretation. A false interpretation by Goat versus Fish. That was not the intention of Goat versus Fish. That was not the intention of Goat versus Fish. Now all these verses are just false now. Goat versus Fish. We might as well resign the verses now. Goat versus Fish. Goat versus Fish. Goat versus Fish versus Goat versus Fish versus Goat versus Fish versus Goat versus Fish versus Goat versus Fish. Goat vs. Fish blames the internet connection. It's the internet connection for Goat vs. Fish. Goat versus fish versus 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 goat versus fish. Wow, that clicks very loudly. We should adjust this. Goat versus fish. How do we adjust this versus? Website volume. And a resignation by Goat versus Fish. How do we do that versus? Oh, New versus, play, players, games. Goat versus Fish. The fence sitter, you would say that it was a triumph of Goat versus Fish, but no. No, the fence used deception on Goat versus Fish. The fence stole it from Goat versus Fish. The fence knowingly messed with the internet connection of Goat versus Fish and triumphed. So it wasn't a true triumph. It was not a true triumph for the fence sitter.
Even though your opponent found a nice tactic, you did a good job building an advantage before that.
Would you stop
something to build on?
Talking to Goat versus Fish. We don't want artificial intelligence talking to Goat versus Fish from fence.com, please. That's the last verses we need. Goat versus Fish, Goat versus Fish, Goat versus Fish, Goat versus Fish. Sure, there was some fenciness about, but it was this versus Goat versus Fish. Goat versus Fish was trying to do this versus, which is still apparently very fancy to Goat versus Fish. What is their recommendation? They say this is a big triumph for Goat versus Fish. We suppose we could do this versus. That's the versus. That's a fair versus. That's a fair versus. Goat versus Fish could. What is their recommendation to Goat versus Fish? King Cobra 198756. What's up, Almighty Goat versus Fish? You winning? Oh yes, Goat versus Fish has just recently triumphed. It was a very recent triumph of Goat versus Fish. We suppose we have this versus. Several other verses. Yes, Goat vs. Fish has just triumphed over Metashafe. It was a brilliant versus by Goat vs. Fish. The fence sitter, of course, tried to deceive Goat vs. Fish, but to no avail, Appreciation for the game for Goat vs. Fish. Metashafe, appreciation. Appreciation. King Cobra, are you goat or fish? Unorganized chaos, are you goat or fish? Unorganized chaos, are you goat or fish? King Cobra, are you goat or fish? King Cobra goes fish. King Cobra goes fish. King Cobra goes fish. Celebration for fish. Celebration for fish. King Cobra goes fish. I am Shave says the fence has triumphed this day. I will sit for longer. You won't be sitting forever. You will choose goat or fish by the verses of Goat versus Fish. Oh, and now the fence spreads. The fence spreads an organized chaos. Oh, how the fence spreads. 2 fence posts. 2 fence posts. What do we have to say about that? It's time to look at Hazemaker 420 Bearded Fish. It's time to look at Hazemaker 420 the Bearded Fish. Celebration for fish. Making that haze. There is much versus Blackstone says goat. Celebration for goat. Celebration for goat. Blackstone goat. Celebration for Blackstone goat. Blackstone 514 in the verses. Blackstone 514 in the verses. Blackstone 514 in the verses. And greetings from Goat versus Fish. And greetings from Goat versus Fish. We think it's time for Goat versus Fish to analyze some verses. It's time for Goat versus Fish to analyze some verses, to go deep into the interwebiverse, and to analyze Goat versus Fish. In the mean verses, Fatality has followed Goat versus Fish on the Instagram. Celebration! Fatality has followed Goat versus Fish. And with some updates on Goat versus Fish, bless you, Zlata has placed a Goat vs. Fish out in the wild. A Goat vs. Fish sticker is now at UC San Diego. Celebration. 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 We add that to the story of Goat vs. Fish, to the library of Goat vs. Fish. Fatality posts this amazing picture of Goat vs. Fish. We repost it to the Instagram of Goat versus Fish. Appreciation. Now, Goat versus Fish has a YouTube of Goat versus Fish. And here we are. Our recent video, Proof Evolution Makes No Sense. And you may say, Goat versus Fish, we didn't know you made that kind of content. But Goat versus Fish has made a video called Proof Evolution Makes No Sense. But only because it doesn't make sense that this fish would start to grow legs and then forget that it was a fish and then not be able to versus the goat. It just doesn't make any sense. It just makes sense. If you're going to go to goat, then just go directly to goat. Don't stop all fencily in between fish or goat. The fish that wanted to become goat, the fish that wanted to grow legs to versus the goat, but then because it grew legs, it forgot that it was a fish, and it's a whole versus. It's a whole fence-tacular versus. And we published that yesterverses, and it has received an amazing 140 views. Wow, Goat versus Fish. You're such an internet celebrity, Goat versus Fish. And here you are. You can go watch it whenever you wish. But we're going to have more Goat versus Fish content coming out. We're going to effort for two Goat vs. Fish videos per week. 2 Goat vs. Fish videos per week. So we do implore you to subscribe to the YouTube of Goat vs. Fish. Why not go and subscribe to the YouTube of Goat vs. Fish? Why not go and subscribe to the YouTube of Goat vs. Fish? If you have not already, we have precisely 1,967 subscribers. Let's get to 2,000. Let's get 2,000 for a Goat versus Fish. It would be appreciation. So let's make some more content of Goat versus Fish. Let's make some more content of Goat versus Fish. We had a little chess. But now let's do some reactions. Let's do some reactions. See what's going on in the verses. See what's going on in the verses. That was when everything went fence, when fish became goat. What would you know about it, I am Shafe? What would you know about it? You're not even a goat or a fish. That's big verses coming from a pitiable fence creature like yourself. I just wanted to try the grass of the land. Yes, yes, we know. Prue Lawrence, welcome to Goat vs. Fish. Prue Lawrence, welcome to Goat vs. Fish. Welcome to Goat vs. Fish. Welcome to Goat vs. Fish. And we have here, Goat vs. Fish is going to... We're going to review. We're going to review that versus. Might do more research on that versus. Here's a fun verse. Here's a fun versus. Here's a fun versus. Here's a fun versus. Goat versus fish. 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 Oh, but for this goat versus fish, but goat versus fish. Prue Lawrence, are you goat or fish? Prue Lawrence, are you goat or fish? I am Shafe. When you post links to Goat vs. Fish, when you post links, we cannot see them. We cannot see them. Explain this. We can't explain anything to you. Goat vs. Fish does not allow links to be posted in the chat except by Goat vs. Fish. Prue Lawrence is feeling goat. Celebration for goat. Celebration for goat. Celebration for goat. Goat, 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 goat. 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 Feeling goat. Feeling goat. Let's ponder this. Let's ponder this. Oh, I am Shafe. You are so new to Goat vs. Fish. Doesn't the newness of Shafe just... Such a cute little fenceling. Such a cute little fenceling. They Googled goatfish. They Googled goatfish. You have so many verses to learn. Let's give some celebration. I am Shafe has just discovered the goatfish. Nice verses. Nice verses. You've come so far. You've come so far. You've come so far. Trigger warning! What happens when a fish discovers ancient creatures of the deep? Behold! The trigger fish has found a strange creature deep, deep in the sea of the fish. Behold! The triggerfish has found a creature deep, deep on the sea floor. The floor that is very much like the land of the goat, but submerged under the sea of the fish. It is true that goat versus fish, and that goat would go to the sea to versus the fish, but many goat never get to see the earth at the bottom of the sea of the fish. It's a difficult place to get to, except for perhaps scuba goat. But is this a goat? Is this really a goat? Is this a goat on the bottom of the sea of the fish? Let's take a closer look. And that is precisely what this fish is doing. An investigation. An investigation. Have you seen a creature that you do not know what it is? Have you seen something peculiar? Something that confounds your senses, and you just wonder, what could it be? Yes, it is true, life is full of novelties. Your existence will be filled with things that perplex your senses. That is why you must ask, are you goat or are you fish? Leave a comment. If you are a goat or a fish, how do you versus the fish? How do you versus the goat? And this triggerfish is no exception. We see the curiosity of fish here on full display. Some say that fish do not have feelings. Some say that fish are not intelligent. They say all kinds of derogatory things about fish. But here we see that fish are at the very least curious to make an inspection. Now, this long-necked thing clearly has 4 legs. That is evidence for goat. That is goat evidence. But have we seen a goat with as long a neck as this? Goat versus fish has, as a matter of versus, seen a goat with as long a neck as this. Make some noise for the goat! Make some noise for the goat! Make some noise for the goat! Yes, this goat, equally ancient as the one that you saw just before you, if it was indeed a goat there at the bottom of the sea of the fish. This long-necked goat, it was declared goat. It declared goat many verses ago. Are you goat or are you fish? Celebration for goat! Celebration for goat! Goat, 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 goat. Look at that tongue. Look at the tongue of goat. Such a classic goat versus. So we have precedence. We do have evidence of long-necked goat. Let us continue our investigation. Goat versus fish, goat versus fish, goat versus fish, goat versus fish. Investigation. Investigation. Continue. The fish leaves. The triggerfish leaves as soon as it came. Perhaps this fish has determined this is no goat. This is no goat. It looks to see what it can perceive, and it says, no goat here, no goat here, and away it swims. If that creature were truly a goat there walking about on the land beneath the sea, then we can expect the fish to versus the goat. Why would the fish not versus the goat there under the sea, where it has the greatest advantage? Now, we would applaud any goat and give them mighty celebrations for being intrepid enough to go beneath the sea of the fish and to versus the fish in their own territory. This is goat versus fish. If there's no risk, why, there's no reward. And if there's no goat, then there's no fish. And if there's no fish, then there's no goat. And is the risk a goat or a fish? And is the reward a goat or a fish? And is risk versus reward goat versus fish? Or is it fish versus goat? But there is never a versus where there is not goat or fish. That was just a hypothetical versus. Don't even get it into your ponderings that there is a versus where if there is no goat, then there is no fish. Because in the beginning there was goat versus fish, and goat versus fish said that there should be goat and that there should be fish. There will always be goat versus fish. There will always be goat and fish. There will always be goat and fish. But what about this? Perhaps this fish has determined that it is another fish, a long-necked, four-legged fish. There are fish with legs. Goat versus Fish just did a versus about evolution, and you can watch that on YouTube. Subscribe to Goat versus Fish. Like and comment Goat versus Fish, in which we explore the verses of a fish that is evolving legs in order to versus the goat on their own land. So this could be a reverse versus. We had a versus where the fish got legs and went onto the land of the goat. Perhaps this is a versus where the fish is goat versus fish. Let us ponder this. Is it the reverse versus, or would it just be the same versus? This could be very well the same verses. This could very well be the same verses. This could be the verses of the evolution of fish, but just at a prior stage. This is where the fish is evolving legs to versus the goat. Elongation its neck. It's trying to be like a goat. This is perhaps what a goat looks like to a fish. As we know, though goat versus fish and fish versus goat, many fish have not even seen a goat. They may not have had their first verses. So this could be a fish that is evolving into a goat and is ready to go out onto the land, but not just yet. And so the trigger fish does a little inspection and determines that's not a goat. That's a fish. That's a fish with legs. Or perhaps this is a deception by goat. Maybe it is a goat in disguise as a fish. It does look a bit fishy now that we versus it. It's got some scales. And it does look perhaps more versed for the life aquatic than your typical goat. But let's cut the fenciness. Let's cut the fenciness. We all know what's really going on here. This fish has encountered a fence sitter. A fence sitter there at the bottom of the sea. It does not know what it wants to be. It is torn between goat and fish, and so it legs like goat, and yet there it is in the ocean's depths. And it is paralyzed. It is paralyzed with fear. Just look at it. Just look at it. The fish is offering a versus. The fish is asking, are you goat or are you fish? Paralyzed with indecision. Is that you? Are you paralyzed with indecision? Are you having trouble getting anywhere in your life? Have you found that when you wake up, you lack the motivation to continue? Goat vs. Fish has a versus for you. Choose goat or fish. And once you have, suddenly your existence will start coming into verses. What once was a pointy fence poking in your posterior will become a beautiful feeling and celebration of life by the power of choosing goat or fish. In any verses, we could never expectation anything like this to be a true verses. When would such a thing happen? When would such a thing happen in the verses of Goat vs. Fish? Radiation! Radiation for Goat vs. Fish! 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 We've got the Deadpool show rating Goat vs. Fish with 23. And it's Scotland Serenity who follows Goat vs. Fish. It's Doc Buglove. It's Slay J. It's a Radiation. It's the Friendly Rooster. It's Polly Ollie. It's Jayhawker94, and it's the Deadpool show with a Radiation. Welcome to Goat vs. Fish. We're just covering some news of Goat vs. Fish. Follow Goat vs. Fish. Are you goat or are you fish? Are you goat or are you fish? Are you goat or are you fish? A goat is a goat and a fish is a fish. A fish is a fish and a goat is a goat, and it's Goat vs. Fish. The Deadpool show has brought you to the one place on the internet where you can truly discover yourself by answering the one true question. Are you goat or are you fish? Yes, this is a serious versus. Yes, what you are witnessing now is like nothing you have ever seen before, and yet it feels so warm and familiar, like a cozy place that you abandoned long ago. But now here you are face to face with Goat vs. Fish, and it's a celebration. And it's a celebration. Celebration for the Deadpool show! How can we learn and how can we grow? Does anyone even know? Are you goat or fish? Let's get some declarations. Polly Ollie. Doc Buglove says, I am always fish. Doc Buglove says, I am always fish. Celebration for fish. Fish, 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 fish. Doc Buglove gets a fish in the verses, gets a fish in the verses. Celebration for fish. We're counting the fish. We're counting the fish. And the goat, Scotland Serenity. Are you goat or are you fish? And the Space Coyote says, goat sin. Celebration for the sinful goat, for the sinful goat, for the sinful goat. I am always fish, says Doc Buglove. Filet of goat doesn't sound good. Have you ever had birria? Have you ever had cabra contra pez? Jay Hawker says, I am Groot. The Friendly Rooster says, I think I'm a bird.
My bum is on the rail. Bum is on the rail. Look at me. My bum is on the rail.
Fence sitters! Fence sitters! Beware the fence sitter who chooses neither goat nor fish. That time in your life that you spent watching Goat vs. Fish and you sat on the fence, you'll never get it back. You'll never get it back. But you can improve the rest of your time with Goat vs. Fish by choosing goat or fish. You don't want to spend your entire existence sitting on the fence, do you? Fence, 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 the Deadpool show. Said, I discovered myself once and I realized I'm 2 inches. 2 inches of goat or 2 inches of fish? 2 inches of goat or 2 inches of fish? And we have Metal Ask who subscribes to Goat vs. Fish. Welcome back to Goat vs. Fish. Welcome back to Goat vs. Fish. Metal Esquire. You honor Goat vs. Fish with your dedication, with your continuing dedication to Goat vs. Fish. Metal Esquire. Perhaps the verses have changed you. We know you've been going through changes in your existence. Are you goat or are you fish? Are you goat or are you fish? Lysurgical Freak Dick with a 45 months of subscription to Goat vs. Fish. Celebration, celebration, celebration. Celebration, celebration. Jayhawker94. Scotland Serenity says fish is best, says fish is best. Celebration, celebration. Jayhawker with 100 bits for fish. With 100 bits for fish, that's 600 for fish. That's 600 for fish. Celebration for fish. Metal-esque goes goat. Metal-esque goes goat. Oh, what a reversal. What a reversal. Metal-esque goes goat. Metal-esque goes goat. Metal-esque goes goat. Oh, you're not the only metal-esque. Goat versus fish was confusing goat with a different goat. Metal-esque, welcome to Goat versus Fish. Celebration for goat. But of course, we may wonder, there might be a unification. There might be a unification happening here soon on Goat versus Fish. But in the mean verses, metal-esque goat, celebration for goat, and with a subscription to Goat vs. Fish, Goat and Fish, we are sensing a goat and a fish here in the congregation of Goat and Fish that are coming together, that may be forming a unification of goat fish. We are sensing, we're feeling a goat and a fish forming the unity of goat fish. It could happen. We are sensing it will happen soon. Goat versus fish, we can feel it in the verses. We can feel it in the verses. My dude, my dog, and also fish. The unity of goat fish. Jayhawker, appreciation for your 100 bits for fish. And then Lysurgical Freak Dick with another 500 for fish. That's 1,100 for fish. It's 1,100 for fish. It's 1,100 for fish. The Deadpool Show says, I guess fish. You guess fish, Deadpool Show. Friendly Rooster is going goat. Celebration, the fence sitter. The fence sitter has gotten off the fence and has chosen goat. The fence sitter. Erase that fence post. Goat, get in the verses, get in the verses. Celebration for goat, celebration for goat. Celebration for goat. Binary Vampire says goat, not a goat. Binary Vampire, celebration for goat. Nice to have you back on Goat versus Fish. Nice to have you back on Goat versus Fish and the Friendly Rooster. Ooh, and Pate Bob Salad, welcome to Goat vs. Fish. Pate Bob Salad, welcome to Goat vs. Fish. Beautiful. It's all the metalheads are here in Goat vs. Fish. All the metalheads are here on Goat vs. Fish. Pate Bob Salad with a celebration! With a celebration of Goat vs. Fish. Nolan412 says all goat on YouTube. Celebration for goat. Celebration for goat. Celebration for goat. Nolan412 with the goat. Pate Bob Salad. Are you goat or are you fish? Consume banana says fish all the way. Says fish all the way. Do you want a banana? This banana for you. Da da da. You get a feeling that Deadpool likes sitting on fence posts. Deadpool was leaning fish, was very much leaning fish. We just got back from Milwaukee, says Pate Bob Salad. Metal Fest pre-party, many goats galore, celebration for goat. Pate Bob, are you choosing goat or fish? Fish for life. That's another 500 verse points for fish. Another 500 verse points for fish. Celebration for fish. Oh! The love of Goat versus Fish. For the love of Goat versus Fish. We appreciation. But we're going to say Deadpool is guessing fish. We're going to give the radiation to fish. Goat versus Fish is a versus. It's up to Goat versus Fish. Scotland Serenity, thank you for following Goat versus Fish. So we're going to give 23 raid points for fish. 23 raid points for fish. And the versus continues. Goat vs. Fish needs to finish recording what will be a future YouTube video of Goat vs. Fish. Goat vs. Fish is putting the link to the YouTube. We are nearing 2,000 subscribers. Go and subscribe to Goat vs. Fish on YouTube. Ring the verses for notification, because now we are going to finish recording our YouTube video of Goat vs. Fish. But we'll bring you up to verses. The YouTube poll is now 50% goat and 50% fish with 10 votes. Celebration! With 10 votes, celebration. Binary Vampire says, ask me again next week. I'll be somewhere new. We will ask you again next week when you join Goat vs. Fish again. Goat vs. Fish will always be here to ask you again next week. Oh, my verses. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday morning. Goat versus fish. We keep changing the verses. We are now aiming for 2. We are now aiming for 2 goat versus fish videos. Binary vampire goat. Every week of goat versus fish. And then once we have an abundance of verses ready to go, then we shall perhaps do 3. But in any verses, goat versus fish, let's bring you up to verses. We were watching this video of this triggerfish. We had a few verses. First, we thought it might be a goat. It has 4 legs. It has a long neck. We also know a long-necked goat. And then we thought, well, maybe it's a fish. Maybe it's a fish that is evolving legs, because in the previous verses of Goat versus Fish, we saw a fish that had evolved legs that was on the land of the goat. So maybe this is a fish that has evolved legs that is yet to go out of the sea of the fish. Or Goat versus Fish. But in any verses, the fish does investigation this creature and chooses to give it ignorance. We do admire the curiosity of fish. It shows the intelligence of fish. Big Skittle says fish. Trigger fish warning. Trigger warning indeed. Trigger warning indeed. We think we started the verses by saying trigger warning. Big Skittles, your fish is in the verses. Appreciation for fish. Appreciation for fish. Big Skittles fish. Fish. Maybe it's a sea goat. It might be a sea goat. But we have had this conversation. But now we are going to finish up the YouTube video of Goat versus Fish, and we think we're going to finish it like this. Goat versus Fish. We were talking about how your life might be over because you haven't chosen goat or fish. And then we were speaking about how to make a choice between goat and fish. We know what this creature is. It has not chosen goat or fish, and that is a pitiable, pitiable verses. There's still time for you to choose goat and fish, but we know we would never see, truly, a verses. Goat versus fish. Yeah, so goat versus fish, and then that versus goat versus fish. But we know, out in the universe, we would never truly see a verses like this. There's something false about it. It reeks of fenciness. Fenciness, 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 fenciness. Fenciness, fenciness, fenciness of the fence sitter. It's unbelievable. Goat versus fish. Now that's a true versus you can depend on. But a creature such as that doesn't look like goat versus fish. So you know it can't be real. Why, just look at this fish. Just look at this fish. Now a fish is a fish is a fish is a fish. But we would never truly expect that to be goat versus fish. Oh, goat versus fish. Oh, fish, what are you doing? No, it must be. Wait a versus, it must be goat. Wait a versus, it must be a goat. It's a versus. It's a versus. Suddenly it's goat versus fish. Suddenly it's goat versus fish. Suddenly it's goat versus fish. Are you goat or are you fish? We'll have that be the verses. We'll have that be the verses of goat versus fish. We'll have that be the verses of goat versus fish. Anakin Skywalker, Goji 75 heal. Appreciation for following Goat versus Fish. Appreciation for following Goat versus Fish. Let's add a marker with description. This versus is celebration. A fence sitter, says Nolan. A fence sitter, says Nolan. Appreciation, Anakin Skywalker, for following Goat versus Fish. Are you goat or are you fish? Goat versus Fish has some preparation to do now. We would love to play you a song of Goat versus Fish. We would love to make you some musications. But Goat versus Fish, we have a convention to do. We have pen, paper, palooza to do. And we have some merchandise to be counted. We have all kinds of verses to be done. Because we're going to be slinging merch and singing songs and doing shows of Goat versus Fish. And we need to make our preparation. So we must say appreciation for joining this verses of Goat versus Fish. Appreciation, Lysergic Freak Dick, The Deadpool Show, Metal-esque, Scotland Serenity, all of you who have come to Goat vs. Fish. Bowser Big Bean Burrito, thank you for joining lately to Goat vs. Fish. But we can count the verses, and we can see there are more fish than goat. There are more monetary contributions to fish than to goat. And there are 23 radiation points for fish. This looks like a triumph for fish. A triumph for fish! 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 A triumph for fish. So let's put a tier. Let's put a tier in Goat versus Fish. Goat versus Fish. Let's put a tier on Goat versus Fish. In the verses of 5. Of 05. In the verses of 05. 15. 25. Goat have been defeated by Fish. Fish triumph. Fish triumph and Fish of the verses. Fish of the verses goes to The Deadpool Show for the mighty radiation. And it was written. And it was written. And it was written. Let us now conduct a radiation. Let us now conduct a radiation. Appreciation, YouTubers, for joining Goat vs. Fish. Like, share, and subscribe to Goat vs. Fish, and we'll see you on the next Versus.